We're back in VGA for King's Quest V. Absence makes the heart go yonder.
Have you previously played King's Quest V?
I have indeed, and I have completed it without the help of a walkthrough, so I really don't know how this is going to go. For now though, I'm going to click no.
Warning, this cartoon contains material that may be necessary for information or clues to complete this game. Please be sure to check your inventory if you decide to skip.
We'll watch it, but I have to say right from the get-go that this game has no subtitles. What you're looking at right now is it. There are no more after this. It's super unfortunate because some of the lines are going to be really hard to understand, and if you're hard of hearing or deaf, it's really going to compromise the playthrough. Either way, we'll give this a go as always. Castle Daventry. Looks glorious. Okay, well that looks very unusual. A wizard conjuring a storm over Castle Daventry. And just making the entire castle disappear. Nice. Oh, it's a scene. It's, this was in King's Quest II, the VGA remake from AGD Interactive when we went to the Future Realm. I thought this might have been out of King's Quest III, but no, it's from the intro of King's Quest V. King Graham is out in the woods, picking some flowers. Walks back to the castle and... oh dear.
My castle? What has happened?
Ooh, I can tell you what happened.
What?
Ooh, I know what happened to your castle. I saw it all, yes I did.
You did? Well then, what happened?
Spit it out.
Ooh, it was the powerful and evil wizard Mordak who did it. Ooh, I just happened to be visiting with an old friend when I saw him materialize out of thin air. Thank goodness he didn't notice me.
Well, don't stop now, go on.
He conjured up a terrible whirlwind that swirled faster and faster around the castle. With another incantation, Mordak then caused the wind to draw the castle up into the sky and out of sight. Ooh, it was something to see, all right.
What a coincidence that you saw it.
Why? Why would this wizard, Mordak, want my castle? What could he have against me and my family?
That I don't know. Ooh, I only know that it was Mordak who took your castle and your family. Well, perhaps I can help you. My employer also happens to be a wizard, which is why I recognized Mordak. Ooh, unlike Mordak, though, my employer is a very good wizard. His name is Crispin Arthur, but we all call him Crispin for short. The only problem is, you see... Woo-hoo-hoo!
That's what they all say about responsible wizards though. They're all good wizards until they're not. Mordak, Crispin, who were you here with? I don't trust you. You're a talking owl.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. The only problem is that Crispin is getting on in years and tends to be a bit forgetful.
I don't know. This doesn't sound as if it would work.
Oh, sure it would. Crispin is a very qualified wizard, one of the best. He just gets a little forgetful now and again, that's all. Now where is it? Ooh, I know I brought it with me. Aha! Here it is.
What is that?
Fairy dust?
Well, it is my opinion that you don't stand a chance against the likes of Mordak. Ooh, excuse me for saying, Your Majesty, but you don't have a choice. You must come with me. I'm sure Crispin can help you.
How did you know we were the king? And where are you taking us?
What is that stuff?
Ooh, just some old leftover fairy dust I've been carrying around. Ooh, it'll help you to fly. You can follow me to the land of Serenia, where Crispin and I live. It's much too far to walk, you know. Ooh, I think the fairy dust is still good.
I think we've heard that name once before.
Come on, up here.
Alright, so we're just straight up flying there, or trying to walk there.
Follow me.
Oh, that's motif. That kind of reminds me of the Space Quest theme, and not in a good way. We're just flat out flying from Daventry to Serenia. Gorgeous graphics. There's a lot there, but let me wait for the entire intro to play out before I start dissecting it. That presumably is Serenia, and from what little I remember of the game, I didn't think there were that many houses on the map.
There it is, down here. Come on.
Okay, here I come.
Soft landing.
Ooh, looks like the fairy dust just wore off.
Cedric? Where have you been? I've been calling for you. Well, well, what have we here? A bit clumsy, are you? Well, come on in the house and dry off. No sense sitting around like a wet dog.
I assume he doesn't know who we are.
Cedric, go into the house and pour each of us a nice hot cup of tea.
Ooh, aye, aye, Crispin.
You can do that? I don't know how that's possible with your wings and your non-existent hands, but okay. I have questions.
The Society of Wizards has always taken a dim view of Mordak and his abuse of his power. Why, he's even been put on suspension a few times. It never seems to do any good, though.
Crispin, why would Mordak want to take my family or castle? What did we ever do to him?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer to that. Mordak is a very unpredictable wizard. I've never understood that evil mind of his.
Ooh, I thought perhaps you could help His Majesty, Crispin. That's why I brought him here.
Well, let me see now. I used to be a very powerful wizard at one time, you know, but I've gotten a little rusty lately.
A little rusty.
That's quite enough from you, Cedric.
Ooh, yes, sir, Crispin, sir.
If he's rusty, what can he really do to the owl?
I don't know what I have that would be of much use to you. Most of my wizard stuff is pretty old and worn out. But let's see what I can find.
Oh my god, he can barely walk. He was walking fine outside, but he's not walking now. That's got to be an animation glitch, surely. Maybe once again it's a problem with this version of ScumVM.
No, that won't do. That's all used up. It might work. Here, eat this.
What is that?
That's an old piece of magical white snake I had left over from last year. With it, you'll be able to communicate with the natural and animal world. You should find that quite helpful.
We can talk to animals.
Here's my old wand. I don't even know if it works anymore. Most of its power may be gone. You should know that wands are like pets. They've got to get to know you before they'll work for you. Just treat it with care and respect, and hopefully it will do something for you. You'd better get going, my boy. No telling what that confounded Morlock could be up to. You go with him, Cedric. Show him the way.
Oh,
Yes, you. Don't be such a coward. Now go on. You'd better get started.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate all you've done for me.
I mean, Cedric was the one who flew to Daventry and spied on us in the first place, so I guess it makes sense that he's coming with.
I suggest we visit the town first. How about it, Your Majesty?
Please don't call me Your Majesty, Cedric. It's much too formal. I'd like it if you'd just call me Graham.
I'd be delighted to, Graham. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yes, the town. You might be able to find some supplies there. It's just over a little hill to the south, not too far.
Well then, let's be on our way, Cedric.
The mouse cursor is moving around automatically. The town is to the south. I'm not sure if that's where we'll start. I mean, we'll start here, take a look around at everything, poke everything, talk to everything as always. But there is a town to the south. Good to know. Firstly, mention it right at the start, there are no subtitles with this version of the game. It's kind of crazy. They released a couple of versions on floppy disk, I believe, and those ones had subtitles. They obviously didn't have speech back then. But when they came out with the CD-ROM version, they didn't include an option to have both the subtitles and the voice at the same time. They just went straight voice. And that's kind of crazy. If you're deaf or hard of hearing, you've got no chance. And additionally, there's no options for music adjustments or speech adjustment here, so I'll do what I can with this. I hope it sounds okay. Do we have anything interesting here?
Information about the game.
King's Quest V by Roberta Williams, version 1.000.052, 1990 by Sierra. If you enjoyed the saga of King Graham in King's Quest V, Absence Makes the Heart Go Yonder, we haven't played it yet, we're sure we can entice you to try out its illustrious predecessors. King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown, King's Quest II, Romancing the Throne, King's Quest III, To Err is Human, and King's Quest IV, Perils of Rosella. The definite article is missing there. You might be interested in learning of other Sierra games by designer Roberta Williams. They are Mixed Up Mother Goose, not a chance, The Colonel's Bequest, which I have heard of, but I've never actually played it. And if you want to order them, you simply call Sierra online at that number there. So they removed that from the game, but they couldn't hack in subtitles. Makes sense, I guess. Alright, so let me switch over to the manual and we'll talk a bit more. Okay, so just going through some of the intro information that was given to us. We were out of the castle, Mordak teleported in, took our castle, teleported it away somewhere, and teleported out. An owl called Cedric, who wears a monocle, wears a waistcoat, and also has the ability to talk, and also make tea, saw the whole thing. He was in Daventry with a friend. He saw what happened. King Graham, who was out of the castle, returned to the castle, noticed it gone, immediately was confronted by Cedric, which would make me think that I'm hallucinating or something, Like, my castle's missing and now I've got a talking owl here. What the hell? And Cedric took us to the land of Serenia. We have heard Serenia once before, and that was in the King's Quest III remake, when we were trying to cross the mountains. That sassy Yeti, who, yes, I definitely remember is in King's Quest V, mentioned that he was going to Serenia. So he was in Daventry, or the mountains above Daventry, and presumably he's wandered all the way over here. And I do remember we'll confront him in this game. We met a bloke called Crispin who mentioned he was part of a society of wizards, and what I've done just prior to starting this recording is I've taken a look at the King's Quest III remake again, specifically the parts where we spoke to the Oracle. The Oracle specifically mentioned something about Morgailen's Cloak, and that is a very specific name which makes me think it is not something that AGD made up. I don't recall it being in 5 or 6, maybe it's in 7 or 8, I'm not sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if this society that Crispin just spoke of was part of that whatever it is. It's a very strange term. The Oracle also talked about the spectrum of destiny, and I don't know if that's just the concept of time or something else, but I think those are very important concepts, and I think Crispin was referring to those just now, even though he didn't use those names. And we've been given Whitesnake, which was also mentioned in King's Quest II, I think, which gives us the ability to talk to animals. That is, if it works. And we've also been given a magic wand, which we've been told does not work. It needs to warm up to us somehow, apparently, before it might work. But the thing is, I think King Graham knows absolutely nothing about magic. It didn't stop Alexander when he was with Manannan from being able to cast spells, but he had the advantage of living with a wizard for 17 years, and also had a spellbook to help him. We've just been given a magic wand which barely works, and we have no idea how to use it. Anyway, the manual. There is very little here. A long time ago, there was a peaceful and prosperous kingdom called Daventry. King Graham and Queen Valenice ruled wisely, and the people of Daventry were content. One beautiful spring day, King Graham set out for a walk in the woods. Birds were singing in the trees. It seemed an auspicious sign. As Graham was contemplating his good fortune, a sharp wind blew into the woods from the east, whirling up sticks and leaves into his path, and startling the birds into silence. The air grew suddenly colder. It seemed an unexpected storm was approaching. Hang on, the magic mirror didn't tell you any of this? Interesting. Graham began to walk back towards the castle, his joyful mood broken by a dark foreboding. When he reached the top of the gentle rise overlooking his home, he was horrified to see empty space where the royal castle of Daventry had stood just minutes before. Cold fear gripped his heart. Where was his family? What had happened to them? I'm not doing Cedric's voice, that's not happening. Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. An owl hooted behind him, but Graham scarcely heard it over the pounding of his heart. I can tell you what's happened, came a voice behind him, and Graham spun around to confront a large owl in a blue vest and spectacles. I know what's happened to your castle. I saw it all, said the owl. Journey into the magical world of King's Quest once again on a quest for the missing castle and the royal family of Daventry. And once again, I did download the actual manual and not the GOG version. There's also not that much here as well with respect to plot. We do get a brief synopsis on the previous games, which you can have a look at there if you like. We get something on King's Quest IV. In later years, King Graham's health began to fail, and the royal physicians were powerless to help him. Only a magical fruit from the faraway land of Tamir could bring about a cure and restore the health of Daventry's monarch. Graham's daughter, Princess Rosella, set off in pursuit of this healing magic for her father. On her journey, she performed many brave deeds and had many great adventures. The chronicles of Rosella's travels and experiences in Tamir are described in King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella. That's curious that it talks about in later years, because the way it was sort of framed, Prince Alexander returned with Rosella, and King Graham was just so overjoyed that he promptly had a heart attack. But reading this, it sounds like it has been in the works for a bit of time. And for King's Quest V, with the king's health fully restored and his family together once more, it was a happy and fulfilled Graham who set out for a walk in the forest one spring day, almost a year since Rosella had returned from Tamir. The kingdom was peaceful and prosperous again, and the people were content. And at that point there, everything is identical to what I just read. There are no text changes there. Also, up here is the copy protection. If you can read the letters on that, you're doing better than I can because, yeah, it's kind of tricky to read. Can you read that, chat? I think that's a W, that's a G, that's an A or something. The information that I need is in the other manual though, so I did blur out the copy protection last time, but I think for this game it's going to be essential to cast a spell later on, so I probably will not blur it out this time. Sierra, if you're listening, I'm sorry. Okay, so with that done, let's take a look around. We've switched over to the icon interface now. We have no text parser. I can walk, I can look, I can manipulate, I can talk, I can look at whatever's in my inventory here.
The old wand doesn't seem to have any vitality left in it.
No vitality.
The old wand...
I can't use it directly from this screen using the hand icon. I think I need to do something like this.
Graham gives the wand a good shake, but it only fizzles and dies.
The wand is dead. R.I.P. wand.
Graham gives the wand a good shake, but it only fizzles and dies.
Okay, let's look around.
King Graham, heavy of heart, searches far and wide for his beloved family, who've been stolen by the evil wizard Mordak. King Graham. Impatiently, Cedric waits for Graham.
Impatiently, really?
A tiny pond adds charm to Crispin's forested home. A small cellar door is located under the house. A small well is located near the cottage. Thick pane windows adorn the small house. It is difficult to see through them.
It's always difficult to see through windows, damn it.
Nestled among the trees of the forest sits the wizard Crispin's worn but cozy cottage. Nestled among the hand-hewn wooden door is recessed within a small porch. Nestled among the trees, an unusual ornament decorates Crispin's front yard. Crispin, being a wizard, it must have some magical significance which Graham could never understand.
It kind of reminds me of a weather vane, but I don't see a spinning thing at the top.
Thick pane windows adorn the small house. It is difficult.
That's Crispin's universe interpreter. But be careful, you might accidentally realign the stars.
I hate the fact there are no subtitles. That's Crispin's universal what? And we could maybe realign the stars?
That's Crispin's universe interpreter. But be careful, you might accidentally realign the stars.
Alright, we're not touching that. Can I have a drink? I need to speed things up immediately.
The cool pond water quenches Graham's thirst.
Excellent. We are hydrated.
Ooh, don't bother with the cellar door. There's nothing there. Besides, it's locked.
I suspect that's where Crispin is hiding the good stuff.
Curious, Graham gazes down into Crispin's well, but sees nothing of interest. Curious,
That's Crispin's...
There's no red dot unlike the AGD interactive remakes. I assume it's roughly the center of the icon that is the, I'll call it the target point here.
Cedric seems to be quietly contemplating their current situation, and so is not inclined to indulge in conversation right now. Having other things on his mind, Cedric doesn't appear to be in the mood to talk right now. Cedric is too busy looking around and doesn't seem to be paying any attention to Graham at the moment. Cedric seems to be quietly contemplating their current situation, and so is not inclined to indulge in conversation right now. Cedric is too busy looking around.
Okay, this bird hates me. Makes sense, I guess. Let's go back inside.
Don't be wasting your time coming in here. Young man, I've done all I can for you. Now it's up to you. Well, anyway, I'm not going to be here for a little while. There's an emergency I have to attend to in a neighboring land. I'll try to keep an eye out for you, but this is something you and Cedric are going to have to do yourselves. I wish you the best, King Graham.
I appreciate all you've done, Crispin. I'll be on my way now.
The door to Crispin's house is now locked. The door to
If he needs to go to a neighbouring land, does he have a back door? Because I assume he can't teleport out. He says he's rusty and he just gave us his wand. Or a spare one, perhaps. Okay, let's head south.
Graham, watch out! A poisonous snake!
Can you say that again, Cedric, please? What type of snake is it?
See how the path goes to the east up into the mountains? That's the route to Mordak's castle.
The path to the east leads to Mordak's castle. But there's a poisonous snake in the way.
Ooh, if you follow the path to the south over the next rise, you'll come to the town.
The town is to the south?
Having other things on his mind, Cedric doesn't appear to be in the mood to talk right now. Cedric seems to be thinking big thoughts right now, perhaps planning their next move, and so is not in a talkative mood. Cedric seems to be thinking big. Cedric is too busy looking around.
I think there's about 5 things you can say here. He doesn't know what's over to the west, but if we go east, that's going to take us to Mordak's castle. But there's a snake in the way. A snake.
A large, venomous snake blocks Graham's passage to the east.
Alright, so we have to get ourselves killed at least once on this video. Please ignore that testing that I was doing.
That wasn't wise, Graham. He who speaks with forked tongue should never be trusted.
Not feeling that.
Stay away. This is my path.
Actually, this was built or cleared or constructed by humans. You're welcome to use it, but you're not welcome to take full ownership of it.
In silence, the large serpent eyes Graham menacingly. In silence, the large...
In silence?
Stay away.
Absolute silence.
Graham gives the wand a good shake, but it only fizzles and dies.
Alright, so we cannot magic it out of existence. Let's take a look around here.
A worn dirt path wanders through a thick wood, alive with the sounds of many creatures. Between the trees, to the east, Graham can see the outline of a great mountain range.
Mountains.
A worn dirt path wanders through a thick wood. A worn dirt path wanders through a thick wood.
Am I getting nothing else here? Nothing about the trees or the grass or the rocks? Given the amount of lines that we got on the rocks in the other VGA remakes, that's terribly depressing. What about these mushrooms? Nothing.
Cedric keeps his eye on Graham while perched on a nearby tree branch. King Graham, heavy of heart,
I can't look at the tree at all. Okay.
a large venomous snake.
I don't see anything on this screen.
Any journey across the great mountains promises to be very perilous indeed. A rutted road leads into the town from the west, while a smaller path joins it from the north.
So I can go west here.
The quaint little town of Serenia, nestles at the base of a great snow-capped mountain range which rises sharply to the east.
We can barely see it on the east though. We can see it to the north, but that's about it.
The quaint, a small tributary of the larger river, powers an old water wheel as it flows through the town. The quaint, secure within a small pen, a spotted cow quietly chews her cud.
Can I milk the cow?
A rutted road. The quaint,
I don't think we're getting much else.
a rutted. Cedric waits for Graham just outside the small town.
Ooh, if you follow this road along the river, you'll come to the town bakehouse. You might find something delicious. I mean, useful there.
We might find something delicious or useful at the town bakehouse to the west.
Cedric is too busy secure within.
Come on, Graham. Don't waste your time with that cow. Come on, Graham.
Unfortunately, the cow doesn't have anything to say. Her mouth is too full of cud.
We can't pat the cow or milk it.
If you're going into town, I'll just wait for you here. I had a nasty run-in with a big dog once, and I feel much safer out here.
You had a run-in with a dog. Could the dog fly? Also, this music. This is using... it's not using the Sound Blaster or the ad-lib or something like that, so... If you've heard the meme, this is definitely not what it sounds like on the meme. Maybe I'll play that later towards the end of the playthrough.
Quaint houses and little shops line the town's main cobblestone street. Quaint houses, quaint, a prosperous-looking tailor shop occupies the town's main corner. A prosperous-looking tailor shop.
A tailor?
A small toy shop fronts the town's cobblestone street.
A toy shop?
Nearly hidden at the end of the street sits a small shoe shop.
And a shoemaker.
Quaint houses. While blocking an alleyway, a frustrated man fixes a broken wheel on his wagon. Graham notices an old wooden barrel on the street corner.
That's oddly specific.
Inside the barrel, Graham sees an old rotting fish. Inside the barrel...
Yeah, I'll take it.
Graham leans way down into the barrel and removes, phew, the smelly old fish.
We get points for that, but we don't get any audio feedback for that.
The man is too busy with his work to notice Graham.
How goes it with you, good fellow?
Not well, I'm afraid. This old wagon's always giving me trouble.
Can I help you in any way?
Thank you kindly, but I think I can handle it.
All right then. Good luck.
Thanks. With this wagon, I'm gonna need it.
What's wrong with the wagon?
Quaint houses. While blocking an alleyway, a frustrated man fixes a broken wheel on his wagon.
Broken wheel. Maybe we can fix that for him or help him?
The town is busy with people going about their daily chores. The people are too caught up in their own business to pay much attention to Graham.
How do you do?
Top of the morning to you, sir.
How do you do? Hello.
Top of the morning. Top.
Hello. How do you? Hello.
Hi, mister. Out of my way, mister. Out of my way, mister. I'm mister.
Nice day, isn't it? Nice day, isn't it? How do you do?
I don't think we're guessing anything here. I don't see anything else around here, so let's go into the tailor shop.
May I help you, sir?
Just looking around.
The tailor, an aristocratic-looking man, attends solicitously to Graham as he looks at all the wares in the tailor shop.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
The busy tailor shop bustles with activity as Graham looks around with interest at all the tailor's wares. The busy tailor shop bustles with the busy tailor shop the busy tailor shop an employee
apologies for missing that. Alright, that cloak on the right looks very interesting, which is why I'm ignoring it. Okay, this dude is attending to us. What did that guy say?
You expect me to wear this?
Alright, fine.
At the back of the shop, Graham notices a dressing room in which a rude, finicky customer tries on many items of fine clothing. The dressing room appears to be occupied at the moment.
Rude and finicky.
The rude customer doesn't care to talk to Graham. The young man is too busy with another customer to be bothered by Graham.
Alright, what of this cloak?
In the corner of the shop, draped casually over a tailor's form, Graham sees a thick, fur-lined cloak.
Here, let me help you with that. Oh, that cloak fits you perfectly. It just looks wonderful on you. Let me tell you, it will certainly keep you toasty warm during the coming winter. Let me know if you wish to buy it.
Firstly, how much is it? And secondly, that looks very distinctly similar to a cloak that we picked up many years ago from an old lady's place.
I'm interested in buying something here.
Let me show you some things. A fine piece of cloth. With this material, I could make you beautiful shirts. There isn't a more beautiful piece of fabric to be found anywhere. With this, I could make you the finest trousers you've ever had. Well, what do you think?
Well, right now I'm just looking. Thanks anyway.
Sure. Whatever you say. I'm just here to help.
What about the cloak?
This shirt's too tight in the shoulders.
Not wishing to be put through another speech about fine shirts and trousers, Graham wisely keeps his mouth shut. At the back of the shop, Graham notices in the corner.
It's a fine cloak. It could be very useful to a traveler like yourself.
Yeah, but how much is it?
Not wishing to be... Being a good businessman, the solicitous tailor would love to sell something to Graham.
I mean, we've got no money, but I'm just curious to know how much it costs.
It's a fine cloak. It could be very useful to a traveler like yourself.
This isn't my style at all.
Alright, let's get out of here. There is a cloak there, though, and we can come back for that. Guys left. What is that?
Graham notices a shiny silver coin lying forgotten on the street near the broken wagon. Bending down, Graham quickly retrieves the silver coin from the street.
Not that menu. I would say that maybe we should give that back to the person who was trying to fix the cars, but I've got a feeling we're going to need that very shortly.
Phew! This smelly old fish is disgusting. It is but a common silver coin.
A common silver coin. I do question whether it's the same currency that we use in Daventry, or whether it's unique to Serenia. Once again, we came with nothing. We didn't bring our sword, we didn't bring any provisions, we didn't bring any money. But I blame Cedric for all of that. The toy shop.
Come on in, look around. Let me know if you're interested in anything.
A child's wonderland of toys fills this quaint little toy shop. Graham notices a strong little sled hanging on a side wall.
The shipment of carving wood hasn't come in yet. What should we do?
If it's not in by tomorrow, I'll send you to the sawmill.
Okay, Papa?
Grandpapa?
Yeah, my darling?
Can I keep this doll? I really like her.
Now, Katrina, you know these toys are for sale for other kinder. Besides, you've got plenty of dolls. You can play with her, but just be careful.
All right, Grandpapa. I'll take care of her.
He seems like a very nice fellow.
A child's wonder. Apparently, the toy maker's son, working in the back room, is learning the toy business from his father.
There is a sawmill nearby.
A child's wonderland of toys. A pretty little girl, who must be the toy maker's granddaughter, plays with a doll while grandfather looks on. The little girl seems happy enough playing with the doll. She needs nothing more. The old toy maker gives Graham the courtesy to look around the shop without pestering him.
That's a fine sled, isn't it? Any child would love to have it.
Yes, I was just admiring the workmanship.
Danke. If you'd like to buy it, let me know.
Did you just say Dunker?
This is a fine little toy shop you have here. You must be very proud.
Danke, son. I've worked very hard at it over the years. But you know, you need to really love it. And I do.
Are most of these toys your creations?
Yeah, most of them. But not all. Some my son made, some I bought, some I traded for.
You're very talented.
Danke, danke. Well, let me know if I can help you.
You're very talented, but your accent is slipping.
The little girl is more interested in her doll. She pays no attention to Graham.
Okay, so there's a sled in here that I could also grab, perhaps.
A pet goldfish swims endlessly around in its fishbowl.
Can I steal the goldfish? Can't steal it, can't talk to it. What kind of game is this?
The plump old toy maker, who seems a jolly sort, carefully mends a toy while sitting comfortably behind the counter. The old toy maker gives Graham the courtesy to look around the shop. Not wanting to bother the toy maker again, Graham instead looks around the toy shop.
Okay, let's get out of here. There's a cloak in the tailor's place. There's a sled in the toy shop.
Nearly hidden.
Now, presumably there's going to be something in here.
Take a look around if you want, but we don't have any shoes to sell you right now. We sold our last finished pair yesterday. Our business ain't doing so good anymore, and we're getting too old to keep trying.
Is there anything I can do to help?
There ain't nothing you can do, short of buying us out. But like I said, if you want to look around, feel free.
Okay, thanks.
Will $1 silver do? You say business is not going well, but you're not selling shoes. Well, you sold your last set. If you made more shoes and sold more shoes, would that not improve things?
Business doesn't seem to be so good for the shoemaker and his wife. There isn't even one pair of shoes for sale, and the old couple look tired and worn out. A skinny old dog lies down on the hard floor of the shoe shop.
Can I pat the dog?
This old dog doesn't appeal to Graham. This old dog doesn't appeal to Graham.
Okay, King Graham is a piece of shit confirmed.
The old dog pays no attention to Graham.
Is there anything in here at all?
Business. The old shoemaker, eyes squinted and fingers calloused from years of making shoes, drives tiny nails into a shoe sole with a small cobbler's hammer.
I was trying to look at the tools behind him, but I don't think that's going to be a thing.
The shoemaker's wife, looking haggard and worn, tiredly stitches away at a large piece of shoe leather. The poor woman has enough troubles of her own, without worrying about Graham's.
You don't have any shoes for sale, huh?
That's right. No shoes at all. We're making a pair right now, but it'll take a while. We're not as fast as we used to be.
Oh, that's okay. My own boots should carry me through the rest of my journey.
Sorry, son. We're doing the best we can.
Okay, so they are still working. That's good.
The old shoemaker wearily hammers tiny nails in a shoe sole. He doesn't even seem to notice Graham. The old shoemaker wearily hammers tiny nails in a shoe sole.
Nothing. Okay. I assume there's nothing here. Maybe we'll get a pair of shoes and give them to them later, perhaps? I've got a vague memory of that. Or maybe we can come back here later after they've constructed that pair of shoes. I don't believe there is anything else here, so let's just go off to the left of the map. Also, if you see the cursor appear like that, it's because I'm playing in windowed mode. I'm having problems going down to the bottom of the screen here. I'll have the same problem on the right-hand side. But that cursor is harder to see. Right, let's try going west to the bakehouse.
With a fine view of the rushing river, the bakehouse sits a bit out of town, along an old rutted road. The cold river courses swiftly by the town bakehouse.
Will stepping into that get me killed?
The cold river courses swiftly by the town. A rutted dirt road travels east and west beside the rushing river.
And also potentially north.
With a fine view of the rushing river, Cedric keeps an eye on Graham near the town bakehouse.
See the road there? Back to the east is the town. You'll find a rundown inn if you follow the road to the west.
Just updating my map. An old rundown inn to the west.
The bakehouse door beckons to all hungry travelers.
What does that say? Baker Brothers Bakehouse.
Graham spies a huge pile of logs to fuel the bakehouse ovens.
I can't take them.
With a fine view of the rushing river.
Can I go this way? I can. And you look like you're in distress, so let me just go over here. I'll leave you in peace. Let's try going inside the bakehouse.
The bakehouse door beckons to all hungry travelers.
Ooh, I'll wait for you here, Graham.
And how is your poor dear mother doing, William?
Oh, she hasn't been doing too well lately. But my brother and I help out whenever we can. Thanks for asking, Amanda.
Austin, keep your fingers out of that pie. The pies look lovely. I think I'll take one.
Yes, they were just made fresh this morning. Here you go.
Yes, this will be a fine dessert for our dinner tonight. Let's go home, Austin.
How much are they? Also, can I pat the cat?
Here's the last of the pies.
Welcome to our bakehouse, traveler. Of course, all of our wares are wonderful, but today we've got a special on custard pies. Just 1 silver coin each, but take your time. Let me know when you're ready.
The Baker brothers seem to have a pet, a large mangy cat. The cat doesn't look very friendly at all.
Dog's not friendly, the cat's not friendly. What kind of game is this?
The cat doesn't appear to like Graham, much less answer him. The wonderful smells of the bakehouse set Graham's stomach to rumbling and his mouth to watering. Delicious, mouth-watering custard pies lining the tables and countertop attract Graham's eyes and nose. Delicious. Delicious. Graham can see the bakehouse kitchen through the partially open Dutch door. Only the Baker brothers are allowed in the kitchen. The baker bides his time behind the counter while Graham looks hungrily at all the delicious wares. The baker, a large, sturdy fellow, waits for customers behind a pie-covered counter.
A large, dirty fellow?
The baker, a large, sturdy fellow. In the kitchen of the bakehouse, Graham can see another big, burly man doing the day's baking.
I think he'd be nice and clean given that he's, preparing food.
Everything looks so delicious, it's hard to decide what to buy.
Everybody has that problem, but what a problem to have.
Those custard pies look most delicious.
Yes, they're made from a recipe handed down from our dear Mama and her Mama before her.
It's still hard to decide, though.
Well, take your time, there's no hurry.
The baker bides his time behind the counter while the kitchen is off limits to customers. Besides, Graham would only be in the way.
Okay, I think I will purchase that.
Sir, I would like to purchase one of your custard pies.
Hopefully that's not a fail state.
These pies cost 1 silver coin each.
I've got it right here. Here you go.
I hope you enjoy your custard pie.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Okay, we did get a sound effect for that, but it sounded like it was cut off. Yeah, I remember why we need that.
The custard pie looks delicious.
Okay, we've got something. So at what cost? $1 silver. So if we go north, that's going to take me into what I believe is the center of the map. Let's go west to an old rundown inn. What's it called? The Swarty Hog Inn.
The brisk river rushes swiftly by the quaint country inn.
Quaint country, not run down, Cedric. Pay attention to the narrator.
Cedric perches upon the Swarthy Hog Inn sign.
Back down the road to the east, you'll run into the bakehouse. Ooh, there's nothing to the west but endless desert.
A desert to the west. I also remember that.
Cedric seems to be thinking big thoughts right now.
Can I go north here? It kind of looks like there's a path over that hill.
An old, uninteresting barn is located behind the country inn. A large haystack dominates the area in front of the barn.
There's going to be a needle in there, I'm sure of it.
Carefully, Graham searches through the haystack, but doesn't see anything of importance. Carefully, Graham searches through the haystack, but doesn't see anything of importance.
I'm clicking the mouse, but the voiceover is not getting interrupted.
Carefully, Graham searches through the haystack, but doesn't see anything of importance.
Interesting. Also, I'm pushing F5 and nothing's happening. I've actually got to go into the menu to save here, which is... when I need to start save scumming, it's going to get problematic. Can I drink out of here?
No, Graham, don't!
Technically, that's a yes.
Too bad. Graham's swimming skills were no match for the mighty river.
Yeah, we only went swimming in Kalima that one time, and there was nothing out there. I can go north. Oh god, more people. I don't like people. Can I go in there?
Graham can see an unbreakable padlock on the barn door.
Unbreakable padlock. Okay, we're not going in there.
Just off a rutted dirt road, a country inn overlooks the picturesque rushing river. Narrowing to the west, the dirt road widens as it heads eastward.
So what's the town?
Just off a rutted... This is a side entrance of the quaint country inn. Weary travelers can enter through the inn's front door.
Ooh, I'll wait for you out here. I don't like that place.
Why not? Another dog. Can I pat the dog?
A flea-bitten old dog lies asleep in the corner. The dog is just out of Graham's reach.
You know that job we pulled yesterday? Where's the rest of the loot, huh? I think one of you guys is holding out on me.
Gentlemen, please excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Diana's full, ain't got no more rooms.
Hey, boss, this guy looks like a real troublemaker. What do you want me to do with him?
Rub 'em out.
Struggle as he might, Graham could not escape his bonds. Don't worry, Graham. The innkeeper will soon put you out of your misery.
Do you do this to all of your travelers, or only the ones that come in trying to pat the dog and or wearing adventurers caps or something? Because that seems like a bad business model.
The Country Inn's tavern looks a bit shabby and run down. At the bar, Graham notices 3 men. The Country Inn's Graham notices 3 rough-looking men huddled over the bar in serious conversation. Since they're talking in such low tones, Graham can't quite hear what they're saying.
Thieves, brigands, rogues, whatever you want to call them.
Graham notices the 3 men haven't noticed Graham yet. Perhaps if he got a little closer...
Gentlemen, please excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I didn't mean to interrupt them, and then we promptly interrupt them.
Diana's full, ain't got...
Hey, boss, this guy looks like a real troublemaker. What do you want me to do with him?
Rub 'em out.
Struggle as he might, Graham could not escape his bonds. Don't worry, Graham.
If I remember correctly, that mouse hole is very important.
This is a side entrance. The side door is locked.
Maybe that leads to that area in the cellar. Okay, not going in there just yet.